Let's dive into the world where humans and vampires are at war. The story follows Momo, a human girl, and Fine, a vampire queen, who both dream of finding a place where humans and vampires can live together peacefully. Later, they form a bond with each other while in search of this paradise where both species can coexist. Fine dreams about her past and the death of her friend Arya, with whom she searched for paradise. On a mission to kill vampires, humans enter a building. A vampire appears, wondering why humans won't leave them alone, and attacks. He defeats a few and bites one, but the humans kill him. The bitten one begins to turn, so they kill him too. The humans split into teams. Momo and her friend Marina continue together. Momo hears a noise and finds a scared child vampire offering her a music box. To avoid attention, she knocks the box down, but another vampire attacks her. Marina arrives and kills the vampire. Grieving, the child vampire uses a drug to transform and attacks Momo. She hesitates, but a man arrives and kills it, scolding Momo for hesitating. He breaks the music box and orders them to return. Flashbacks show humanity's long fight against vampires, who emerged after a plague. They built the City of Light, banning music and culture to avoid vampires. Momo and Marina work at the city wall, where Marina gives the music box to Momo. Later, Momo's mother, Nobara, the commander, tells Momo she's being reassigned. Nobara criticizes Momo for hesitating to kill the child vampire, reminding her that vampires threaten their survival. Elsewhere, at a vampire ball, Fine dances but isn't interested in fighting. Her friend, Allegro, warns of a human invasion, but Fine refuses to join the fight. The next day, Nobara explains the vampire's drug, which boosts power but kills them. She suggests invading the vampire nest to end the war. Nobara tells him there's no need for flattery and reminds him to follow her lead, as she knows he's working on a new weapon to fight vampires. After work, Momo spends time with Marina, telling her she fixed the music box and plans to listen to it together the next day. Meanwhile, vampires gather near the city, and Fine joins Allegro, saying she's looking for a place to die. The humans attack the vampire lair, but Momo is caught listening to the music box. Nobara gets angry and slaps her, and Momo runs away. At the same time, the humans fall into a deadly trap, and Allegro leads an attack on the city. Momo contacts Marina, wanting to leave the city, but Marina urges her to stay. The vampires destroy the lights during the attack, but Nobara holds them off. Fine tries to save a vampire but is injured. Momo, humming with the music box, is found by Fine, who asks her to sing. Marina shoots Fine, but a transformed vampire attacks and kills Marina. In anger, Momo shoots the vampire, but Fine pulls her away and flies off, though they crash. Nobara and her men pin the vampire with light, ready to shoot even if Momo is at risk. Fine urges Momo to accompany her, saying the war will never end. Momo agrees, and just then, a traitor cuts the power, allowing Allegro to advance. Fine and Momo flee by car while the transformed vampire chases them, but Kubo kills it, forcing Allegro to retreat. Nobara contacts her brother, Kubo, who promises to bring Momo back, though he's annoyed by the soldiers she sent. Nobara explains she sent them due to pressure from the deputy commander, and while they're supposedly testing a new weapon, they're actually trying to gather dirt on her. Kubo speaks with the team, but they say they can't continue tracking Momo by car. Kubo suggests going to a nearby town for help. Meanwhile, Fine has taken Momo to her secluded villa. She offers Momo food, but Momo doesn't trust her, thinking Fine plans to eat her. Fine asks why Momo is singing, but Momo doesn't know. Fine plays a song on the piano, which Momo recognizes. Fine asks Momo to dance, but Momo refuses, angry about Marina's death. Fine tells her she can leave with the music box, but Momo stays, having nowhere to go. Momo finds a picture in the music box that mentions a paradise where humans and vampires create music together. In the vampire city, the elders order Allegro to find Queen Fine, who is needed to continue the bloodline. At night, Momo explores the villa and finds a room with a projector. She sees a girl running and Fine playing music. Feeling watched, she panics and loses consciousness. She wakes up in a bathtub, where Fine explains she had a fever and seems tormented. Fine plays a song sung by a human about loss and grief. Again, Fine asks why Momo is singing but leaves her to listen. Kubo learns Fine is likely in a mountain villa, and he gives blood to some vampires for their help. Momo finds Fine in her garden and is surprised she's interested in gardening. As Fine feels weak, she asks Momo to finish the work for her. Learning Fine lives alone, Momo suggests that she finds friends, but Fine prefers being alone so no one gets hurt. Momo thanks her for trying to protect Mirina. Momo wants to sing the song from the vinyl for Mirina and asks Fine for help. Fine plays the piano while Momo sings. At the same time, Kubo and his group approach the villa. He tells the soldiers to wait before using their weapon, but they plan to use it right away. Allegro and his vampires are also getting close and notice the humans. As Momo sings, an arrow hits Fine in the neck. Kubo's group enters and captures Momo, though she doesn't remember Kubo. Vampires attack through the window, and Kubo's group kills them. Momo escapes, and Fine grabs Kubo. Allegro captures Momo, wanting to know where Fine is. He recognizes something in Momo and decides to kill her, but Kubo's men save her. Outside, soldiers in armored mech suits fight the vampires. Allegro finds Fine and tells her the elders want her back, but she refuses. Momo hangs from a chandelier, and when part of the roof blows off, Fine saves her. She leaves Momo in a shed with the music box and returns to fight Kubo. Momo hits Kubo with a car, and she and Fine try to escape by driving off a cliff, surviving the fall. Momo suggests they search for paradise together, and Fine agrees. Fine and Momo begin their journey, and Fine plays a song from a cassette, asking Momo to sing along. Momo doesn't know the lyrics, but Fine tells her to sing from her heart. They travel, visit different places, and have fun. In the human town, the deputy commander accuses Nobara of her daughter Momo siding with vampires and shows proof, demanding she take responsibility. Fine and Momo reach a vampire checkpoint. Fine says she needs to enter the town to repair their car, and Momo is her blood bag. She pays 5,000 and a bottle of blood each, but they warn her that humans aren't allowed on the island. As they near the town, Momo realizes humans and vampires don't live peacefully here. Fine explains that humans control the right side and vampires the left, separated by a canal. They barter, with humans providing blood and vampires giving money. Fine takes them to a hotel, telling Momo not to leave the room. The vampire hotel owner warns her that keeping a human could cause problems, but Fine pays him 4 bottles of blood to stay quiet. In their room, Fine offers to teach Momo to play the piano. Meanwhile, Kubo tells Kade that Momo believes in a paradise where humans and vampires live together. That night, Fine dreams of Arya and accidentally drops her glass. Momo wakes up, noticing Fine's craving for blood. Fine almost loses control, but stops herself. Momo offers her own blood, but Fine refuses, saying she no longer drinks blood. Struggling, Fine throws Momo out, urging her to return to her mother. Momo approaches the military facility but is noticed and chased away. Determined, she sneaks in, finds the blood bank, and takes some blood. She's discovered, and they start shooting, causing an explosion that Allegro notices. Meanwhile, vampires from earlier check the hotel, suspecting more humans. They take all the blood from the owner, who tells them that Fine is in a room on the 3rd floor. The vampires decide to punish her, but the owner accidentally knocks over candles, starting a fire. Allegro captures Momo, demanding to know where Fine is. He explains that a human once manipulated Fine, causing her great pain. Momo refuses to reveal Fine's location, saying Fine promised to teach her piano. She escapes Allegro and runs back to Fine with the blood. As vampires search the hotel, they throw the music box into the fire. Fine, weakened, lies on the ground. Momo finds her, takes her to their car, and they escape. The hotel owner blames them for everything, telling them there's no place to run. Momo eventually finds a small house in the woods, where she gives Fine the blood. When Fine wakes, Momo urges her not to give up and questions why she took her along if she was going to give up. Momo, crying, says she knows there's nowhere for them to go. The next day, they continue their journey by boat. After traveling across icy waters, Momo collapses. She wakes in a cabin, greeted by a girl who says this must be the paradise they were searching for. Momo wakes up in a bed and is greeted by a young vampire named Elisha, who assures her she won't suck her blood. Momo asks about Fine, and Elisha promises to take her to her later. After giving Momo food, Elisha explains they found them by chance and shows her around the village where humans and vampires live together peacefully. They arrive at Fine, who is staying in an old frozen submarine converted into housing. Momo excitedly tells Fine they've found the paradise they were looking for. Suddenly, a vampire emerges from a section, begging to be released as his blood has been drained. Alicia explains that he suffers from a blood disease. Once alone, Fine admits to Momo that she finds the village strange. Meanwhile, Kubo's group reaches the town Fine and Momo visited. After speaking with the hotel owner, a soldier recognizes the village from research, explaining that a submarine caused contamination in the area, leading to the village's downfall. Fine gives Momo a blade for protection, but Momo hesitates to take it. Later, Alicia officially welcomes them to the village, explaining that despite the war, they've created art and music that guide people to this safe place. The villagers celebrate with music and dancing. Alicia teaches Momo to dance, and Momo thanks Fine for bringing her to such a place, feeling free and happy. Fine tries to say something, but Alicia interrupts. Allegro, having followed Kubo, finds Fine and urges her to return home, believing Momo is safe here. Fine, recalling past mistakes, starts to believe she may disrupt Momo's happiness. Nobara says traitors are useless and must face consequences. The group then crosses a frozen lake to a village. The next morning, Momo finds Fine's blade and a note telling her to use it if needed. Momo realizes Fine has left, and Elisha promises to find her. She locks Momo in a room, warning that the melting lake is dangerous. The villagers search for Fine. Meanwhile, Fine grows weaker, and Allegro goes for help. Nobara warns Kubo the village isn't a paradise, but Kubo, recalling his vampire wife's betrayal, disagrees. Momo escapes her room through a hole, but Hasumi notices. She finds a sled with an engine, but Elisha shoots it, forcing Momo to flee into a submarine. Cornered, a voice guides Momo through a duct. She finds a captive vampire who explains that the village uses vampires' regenerative blood to generate electricity. He also reveals they lure people with pictures. Villagers find it fine. Elisha shoots the vampire, saying sacrificing a few keeps everyone safe. She chases Momo, offering forgiveness if she joins them. Outside, Kubo's group meets the villagers, searching for Momo. The elder denies knowing her, but Kubo doesn't believe him, leading to a fight with vampires. The soldiers' mechs damage the submarine. Alicia captures Momo, but Momo stabs her with Fine's blade and escapes. Elisha captures her again, but Momo shoots her, causing Elisha to fall onto a torpedo and die in an explosion. Fine dreams of her past with Arya and Momo. She wakes up, dives into the water, and finds Momo trapped in a submerged part of the submarine. She saves Momo, who thanks her for the blade. Seeing Allegro return with more vampires, Fine grabs Momo and flies away, chased by vampires and humans. They reach an abandoned town and use the buildings to hide. Momo tells Fine not to push herself, not wanting her to get hurt. Suddenly, Kade snipes Fine, causing her to fall. On the ground, Fine is shot more. Momo tries to protect her but is captured by Kubo's men. Fine gets up, rescues Momo, and hides in a building. At a dead end, Fine puts Momo in a hole, saying to follow the water to escape. Momo refuses, but Fine promises to meet her and create a paradise. Momo notices Fine's bleeding won't stop. As Kubo's men approach, Fine pushes Momo through the hole and blocks it. Cornered, Fine uses the drug. Momo escapes, but Allegro, learning about the drug use, gets angry. A soldier captures Momo and steps on Allegro with his mech. Allegro manages to knock out the soldier, frees Momo, and, as he dies, tells her to save Fine. Transformed, Fine defeats Kubo's men and fights Kubo, who stabs her. Momo interrupts, but Fine, unable to recognize her, bites her twice. Kubo pins Fine to the wall, and when Momo attacks him, he pins her down, telling her that the paradise she seeks doesn't exist. Fine remembers Arya saying the same thing as Kubo, but Momo tells Kubo he doesn't know them and can't say what's possible. She stabs his leg with glass and keeps fighting. Kubo says they've only known each other for a few days. He points a gun at Momo, saying he won't kill her if she returns to Central. Momo refuses, wanting to stay with Fine. Fine breaks free, pins Kubo down, and tells her to kill him to prove vampires are monsters. Momo stops Fine, who releases him. Kubo grabs his gun and tries to shoot Momo, but Fine takes the shot. They walk away, and Kubo remembers his wedding and killing his vampire wife. Momo climbs on Fine's back, and they fly to a hill and enter a cave. Fine starts disintegrating and returns to a humanoid form. Momo offers her blood, but Fine says it's too late. Seeing Moon Azaleas, Fine remembers Arya, who loved her despite being a vampire and taught her music and dance. After Arya's death, Fine felt dead inside. She thought Momo was a replacement, but realized Momo was stronger than she knew. Fine asks Momo to sing and live happily. Fine dies, and Momo cries. Carrying her body, Momo meets Nobara, who blames Fine for Momo's suffering. Momo says Nobara doesn't know the world. Nobara points her gun but doesn't shoot. Momo buries Fine and sings at her grave. Years later, Momo lives peacefully with a family of humans and vampires.